Now, let us talk about something that is rarely discussed honestly. What does a woman actually feel emotionally when her husband drinks her breast milk? Many men assume it is either automatically pleasurable or automatically uncomfortable. The reality is much more layered. For some women, it can feel emotionally intimate, deeply connecting, and even empowering. For others, it can feel strange, vulnerable, or overwhelming. And for some, it may simply feel like something they are not ready for at that moment in life. None of these reactions mean something is wrong with her or with the relationship. During lactation, a woman's body is already going through physical and emotional changes. Hormones fluctuate, fatigue is common, sensitivity is heightened. When intimacy is added into this phase, it can amplify emotions. If the husband approaches this topic with curiosity, respect, and patience, it can feel like a shared experience. But if it feels expected, pressured, or treated as a fantasy that must be fulfilled, it can quickly turn into emotional distance. This is why communication matters more than the act itself. A healthy partner does not ask once and assume silence means consent. A healthy partner creates space for honest conversation. Simple questions like, "How does this make you feel?" or "Is this comfortable for you today?" can completely change the emotional outcome. Women often say that what matters most is not the act, but how safe they feel expressing discomfort without fear of disappointing their partner. There is also a psychological aspect that many couples overlook. For some women, breast milk is closely linked to motherhood and nurturing. Mixing that identity with sexual intimacy can feel confusing at first. This does not mean it cannot be intimate. It simply means the transition needs emotional sensitivity. When a husband acknowledges this and moves slowly, trust deepens. When he ignores it, emotional withdrawal can happen silently. Another concern that comes up frequently is whether this affects milk supply for the baby. Medically speaking, occasional adult consumption does not harm milk supply, as the body produces milk based on demand. However, if the woman already feels overwhelmed, exhausted, or stressed, even small things can feel like too much. Emotional readiness matters just as much as physical readiness. Let us also clear a common misconception. Some men believe that breast milk consumption will somehow boost their testosterone, stamina, or sexual performance. There is no scientific evidence to support this. Breast milk is not a supplement for adult male health. It does not cure erectile issues, low energy, or hormonal imbalance. If a man is struggling with these concerns, medical evaluation is the correct path, not myths found online. On PeakMale Health, we focus on real solutions, not shortcuts. What actually strengthens intimacy is not the act itself, but the emotional safety around it. Couples who report positive experiences usually describe open communication, mutual curiosity, and the freedom to stop anytime. Couples who report negative experiences often describe silence, pressure, or unspoken discomfort. As a urologist with 8 years of experience, I have seen how small misunderstandings in intimacy can slowly damage trust. Men often think they are being rejected physically, when in reality, the woman is protecting her emotional comfort. When this gap is not addressed, resentment builds quietly. When it is addressed with empathy, relationships become stronger than before. It is also important to understand that consent is not permanent. A woman may be comfortable one day and uncomfortable the next. That does not mean she is inconsistent or confusing. It means her body and emotions are responding to real physical sensations. Respecting this flexibility is a sign of maturity, not weakness. At this point, I want you to reflect honestly. Are you listening to your partner's comfort level, or are you focusing only on your curiosity? Healthy intimacy always involves checking in, not checking out emotionally. When both partners feel heard, intimacy naturally deepens. In the final part of this video, we will talk about clear boundaries every couple should set, when this should absolutely be avoided, how to approach this topic without awkwardness, and how to close the conversation in a way that strengthens your relationship rather than creating distance. We will also wrap up with practical advice that you can actually use. Now let us talk about boundaries, because this is where clarity protects both partners. There are certain situations where this should simply not be done. If the woman has nipple cracks, bleeding, active infections, mastitis, or significant pain, intimacy involving breast milk should be avoided completely. Pain is never a sign of intimacy. Pain is a signal to stop. A loving partner understands that immediately. Another situation is emotional discomfort. If your wife feels awkward, unsure, or emotionally conflicted, that feeling deserves respect. Intimacy should never feel like something she has to tolerate to keep the relationship peaceful. True closeness happens when both partners feel relaxed, not pressured. Beliefs and values also matter deeply. As I mentioned earlier, some religions and cultural systems clearly prohibit this practice. For many couples, faith is not just tradition, it is emotional grounding. Ignoring that can create inner conflict that affects intimacy far more than any physical act ever could. Always choose peace of mind over curiosity. Now let us talk about how to approach this conversation in a healthy way. Timing matters. This is not a topic to bring up jokingly or during intimacy without warning. Choose a calm moment. Speak honestly, without expectation. And most importantly, listen without defensiveness. If your partner says no, that no is complete. It does not require explanation or justification. What I want men to understand deeply is this: masculinity is not proven by how many fantasies are fulfilled. Masculinity is proven by emotional intelligence, patience, and respect. A man who makes his partner feel emotionally safe is always more attractive than a man who pushes boundaries. As a urologist with over 8 years of experience, I can tell you something very clearly. Strong relationships are built on trust, communication, and mutual care. Not on copying what others are doing. Not on internet myths. And not on silent expectations. If you are watching this video and thinking about your own relationship, take this as an invitation to communicate better. Ask your partner how she feels. Share your thoughts honestly. And remember, intimacy is a journey, not a checklist. On PeakMale Health, my goal is to give you clarity, not confusion. Real science, real conversations, and real respect for both partners. If this video helped you understand something new or think differently, please support this channel by subscribing. Your support allows us to keep creating honest content that actually helps couples. I would also love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this topic? Do you think open conversations like this help relationships, or do they create discomfort? Share your perspective in the comments below. Your comment might help someone else feel less alone. And if you believe this video can help another couple, share it with them. Sometimes, one honest conversation can change a relationship for the better. Thank you for spending your time with me. This is Dr. Shruti, and you are watching PeakMale Health. Take care of your health, take care of your relationship, and most importantly, take care of each other.